Hello there guys, and welcome to this Prepar3D video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Aerosoft A318 A319 Professional Edition, which was recently released for prepared version 4. I will be approaching this first look / review video in a slightly different way, where we're going to take the aircraft for a full flight from Jackson Hole to Denver, Colorado, and hopefully we'll be able to expose all the features and options of the aircraft during the course of the video. One of the nice things in the new Airbus A318, A319 by Aerosoft is the ability to use Navigraph datasets. This is a big thing for me, at least, since I don't use NavData Pro. The only difference is that NavData Pro uses the Lufthansa data system, while Navigraph uses the Jeppesen data system. We are going to go through the flight planning phase very quickly. There are a few things that I want to show you guys in case you use PFPX for your flight planning. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to say add flight. We are going to be flying Delta 1974 today. And we're going to be departing Kilo Juliet Alpha Charlie, which is Jackson Hole. And we're going to be heading to Denver, Colorado, which is Kilo Delta Echo November. The aircraft is an A319 Airbus, and we're going to save it. Plan flight, random payload, find alternate destinations or destination alternatives, and find the route here. And as you can see here, we're going to be departing Jackson Hole runway 19er and arrive into Denver runway 26. I'm going to say compute flight, release the flight, and now we're going to export the flight plan to Prepar3D. Now what I did in PFPX is I went to the Aerosoft General A3XX flight plans and I modified the path to point to the A318 Pro flight plan folder. To do this, you simply click on highlight the route and then simply click on browse, and then you'll be able to select the location. Now the location, as you can see, is Aerosoft General A3XX flight plans. Okay, so you go to your documents folder and then browse to this path and select it so that you can save the flight plan into this folder. We're going to go ahead and say save. Now that we have the flight plan set up, we are going to go to the operational flight plan and we're going to note the remaining distance of 458 nautical miles. We're going to bring up the Aerosoft Airbus Fuel Planner. We're going to enter our departure code, which is Kilo Juliet Alpha Charlie, and our arrival, which is Kilo Delta Echo November. That gives us a distance of 352, and as you can see, it does not match the distance here, simply because PFPX draws the Airbus configurator draws a direct line from the departure to arrival. So what we're going to do, we're going to modify the distance to 458, and that will everything else. We're going to be cruising at 33,000 feet, and you can go ahead and enter your taxi, APU times, and the rest of the information here from your flight plan. We're going to say generate load sheet, and we are now ready to jump back into the sim and configure the aircraft for departure. Before we begin preparing the aircraft for departure, let's take a quick look at the aircraft 3 modeling and texture work. I assume that this is ported from FSX with a few enhancements to use the available technologies in Prepar3D version 4, but as you can see, the 3D model is a highly authentic model of the real Airbus. The texture work and the sharpness of the textures, the details are very, very good. And this is, again, very indicative of Aerosoft's work. As you can see, the reflection here on the windows, the reflection of the aircraft fuselage are things that were not available in FSX. The overall look and feel of the aircraft is quite exquisite, a very representative model of the real Airbus. As you can see, the 3D cockpit modeling and the texture work is again done to a very high standard. I think again it's ported from the FSX version. but of course with using the latest available technologies in P3D, such as the dynamic shades, the instrument reflections, very high fidelity representation of the Airbus 3D cockpit. As you can see here, the overhead panel looks pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to do in this flight, we are going to be using the interactive checklist, or the automated checklist, if you will, throughout the flight to kind of give you guys an appreciation of how much work was put into this aircraft. It actually works very well, and the thing I like about this Aerosoft Airbus is that it really works for both the seasoned flight simmer who wants to do everything manually and go through their own checklist, or use FS2 Crew to add a little bit of immersion to their experience, or you can use the built-in automated checklist, which pretty much does everything for you with the virtual co-pilot. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to first go battery 1 and battery 2, and we're going to turn on external power. And we're going to head over to the adheres and set them to nav mode. Okay, and fuel pumps, we're going to turn those on. And now we can press, actually before we do that, let's illuminate our displays here. All right. And what we can do now is press Shift and 4. We're going to go to the checklist and we're going to say checklist is on, co-pilot is also on, and cockpit preparation.
Cockpit preparation checklist.
Okay, while that happens, we're going to head over to the MCDU.
Weather radar power supply.
We're going to click here, clear
Both
that.
off.
Landing
And
gear
we'll go
lever.
to
Checked.
Initialization.
Batteries.
We are
Both on.
currently at
Electrical
Kilo
power.
External
Juliet.
power is on.
Alpha Charlie,
APU fire test.
and we're going to be heading to
Checked.
Denver,
Beacon recall.
which is
Checked.
Kilo Delta Echo November.
Flaps.
Make sure that you
Check
enter
position.
the
Speed brake
right
Check
file name
contracted.
for your
Parking
flight
brake.
plan. I'm going to put that here. Right, everything's populated now. We are today Delta 1974.
Parking brake.
Cost index is 25. And cruise altitude today is going to be 33,000 feet. And we're going to go ahead and say
Parking
IRS initialization and align IRS. Okay, head over to the next page. And before we do that, let's head over to Shift and 4 again. I think it's waiting
brake.
for the parking brake. There we go.
Set on.
Return.
brake
We're going to
pressure.
go to the
Checked.
fuel page here.
Cockpit
And we're
voice
going to
recorder.
initiate the load
Set
sheet.
on.
Ground proximity warning system.
On.
Instant. All
Flight
right, so
control
we've got our
system.
fuel now, and boarding
On.
is done.
Adheres.
We can now
Checked.
select our zero fuel,
Navigation lights.
block fuel,
Set on.
Cabin
and
signs.
everything is now done. All right, we can head over to our flight
Both
plan
on.
now,
Emergency
and
lights.
head over to our
Checked
departure.
and armed.
And we're going to be departing
Off.
runway
Probe
19er
window
today
heat.
through the Alpine
Auto.
to
Air
Sid,
condition.
Checked.
through the
Electric panel.
sweat transition,
Checked.
Fuel
and
pumps.
insert that.
On.
And we can now head over
Hydraulics.
to our
Is checked.
destination
Engine fire
and
test.
arrival.
Number 1.
And we're going to be arriving at runway
Checked.
26, and we're going to do ILS 26
Checked.
through the
Ventilation panel.
Is checked.
KL
Anti-skid.
2
On.
star
Radio
through the
management
Charlie
panel.
Hotel Echo
Set
transition.
on.
Weather radar.
And we're going to
Gain.
insert,
Mode.
and now we can check our flight plan to make sure there
Checked
are no
and set.
discontinuities.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
There's
Engine
one
mode
discontinuity
selector.
here, and
Check
we're going
normal.
to clear that.
HTC.
Make sure that everything else is fine, which it is. Insert.
Reporting.
Checked
And we're going to go
and
to
set.
performance now.
TCAS.
And let's see, we're going
Check
to do
standby.
flaps 1 and
Oxygen mask
0.8
test.
up for the trim. 0.8 up. And we're going to insert that here. And now all our speeds are there.
Checked.
And the flex
Flight
temperature
director.
is 51 Celsius.
Checklist
Okay.
complete.
So we are now ready, so we're going to wait for the cockpit preparation to complete. Set the altimeter, 3025. Alright, so now all we need to do is close the doors for the checklist to continue, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and bring shift 4. We're going to go to return, aircraft doors, and we're going to close the door. There we go.
Runway 22 left. Taxi via Alpha November, cross runway 15 right, hold short, runway 15 left. 2 left via Alpha November, cross 15 right, short 15 left, JetBlue 633.
Captain, the cabin is secure, all passengers are aboard.
Bravo, give way to the twin Cessna, JetBlue 633.
Before start checklist.
November gives way to you.
Windows and doors.
Closed and locked.
225 are ready to taxi.
APU.
225 are ready, runway 22 right,
Set
taxi
on.
via
APU
Echo,
bleed.
Alpha November, cross runway 15 right, hold short.
Alright, so we're
runway
waiting for the
15 left.
APU to become available now.
22 right, Echo,
And
Alpha,
I really like this
November.
Airbus. I think it is slightly better than the jar design for X-Plane, in my opinion. Of course, it is not, it is an unfair comparison to compare it to the Flight Factor A320 or the FS Labs A320 for that matter. But I think it sits somewhere in between. The price is reasonable for what you get with this aircraft, with all the features that are available, and as well as the support that comes with it.
Set on.
And then turn left on
External
Alpha,
power.
taxi via Alpha.
Disconnected
Lima,
and
runway
off.
15 right, hold short.
Cabin
November.
signs.
Alright, give away
Both
to
on.
United, we'll go Alpha Lima, and then
Thrust
on the 15
levers.
right,
Idle.
short November,
Parking brake.
31.
On.
Bearer reference.
Checked. 3025.
3025. Check. Beacon lights.
Set on.
ATC.
Lufthansa
Auto.
423
Checklist
heavy, request
complete.
taxi. Lufthansa 423 heavy, Monster ground, ready.
Okay, so we are now ready to bring up the ground services and push back out of our position. So Control F12, and let's prepare for pushback and departure. I'm going to use Delta Airlines and straight pushback. No, okay. So the pushback truck is now here, and we're going to wait for the pushback truck to complete the inserting the pins.
Parking brakes released.
All engines clear. Start that way.
Alright, so we've received our clearance from ground services to start our engines. So we're going to go ahead and set the engine mode selector to start. And we're going to begin with the engine number 2.
Starting engine 2.
Really a very beautiful scenery of Jackson Hole by Orbex.
Engine 2 is stabilized.
Alright, let's go ahead and start the engine number 1.
Starting number 1.
Number 633 taxi.
Engine 1 is stabilized.
And we have a good start on both engines.
Parking brakes.
Alright, let's set the parking brake.
Parking brakes are set.
Alright, engine mode selector to normal.
Clearing here at Echo 58 Alpha 6.
And APU master is
United
off.
537, Echo 3 into
APU
the
bleed is off. Auto brake on max. Of course, the co-pilot could do this for you if you wait for it. I'm just gonna go ahead and perform these procedures here. Ground spoiler is armed. Flaps
and then turn
1.
left on Alpha, taxi via Alpha.
Don't truck
Runway
disconnected.
15 right.
And the rest, the pilot and co-pilot will do. The virtual pilot and co-pilot will do for us.
And then on the 15 right, short of November, 31.
After start checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
APU bleed.
Off.
APU master.
Ground, Lufthansa
Off.
Ground
423
spoilers.
heavy, request taxi.
Checked and armed. Checked 0.
Runway
Pitch
22
trip.
left, taxi via Lima. Bravo, November, cross runway 15 right, hold short runway 15 left. Lufthansa
Set.
423 heavy.
Flaps.
For runway 2
Flaps
left
1.
via Lima. Bravo. November,
Flight controls.
cross runway 15 right,
All right, let's perform the flight control check. Full left.
Full left.
849 Boston Ground, taxi via Bravo Alpha 1.
Full right.
Oh, Alpha 1, thank you. 849.
Neutral.
Counter 423 heavy, cross
Full
runway
up.
15 right, hold short, runway 15
Full
left.
down.
We confirm, crossing runway 15
Neutral.
right, hold short
Rudder.
runway 15 left, Lufthansa 423, and just to be sure,
Full
we
left.
don't need to contact ramp here, right?
Full right.
That is correct. Air 22, cross
Neutral.
runway 15 left, monitor
Check.
tower 128.8, good day.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Pcap status.
Checked.
633, cross
Engine
runway
roll
15 left, hold short, runway 22 right.
Checked.
Hand signal.
Received.
Checklist complete.
American 1852 as you make the left.
Okay, so the checklist is complete now. We are ready to taxi. I'm going to go ahead and release the parking brake. And we're going to taxi to increase our speed to about 10 knots.
Alright, I'll call the guy, thanks.
JetBlue, Airbus, understand you're ready to tow. Stand by. With 633, monitor tower 128.8. Enjoy.
Taxiing checklist.
Thank you.
Exterior lights.
Set on.
Brake check.
Pedal pressed. Checked 0. Checked.
Auto brakes.
Max.
Takeoff data.
Reviewed.
FCU.
Checked.
Flight instruments.
Checked.
Weather radar power
Zulu,
supply.
runway 15 right, hold short of November.
Wind shear.
Alright, Alpha Zulu now, 115 right.
Checked
short of
and
November,
set.
Brickyard 31 87.
TO config.
Set.
1770 Boston, you're on what you
Checklist
gave.
complete.
Yeah, we're gate Bravo 10, sir. CAC 1770.
Straight in on kilo, okay, 1770, good day.
Okay, so we are now done with the taxi checklist and we are ready for the before takeoff checklist. We are going to invoke the before takeoff checklist momentarily here. Alright, I think we are close to the runway now. We're going to go ahead and call for the before takeoff checklist.
Flight attendants, seats for takeoff. Before takeoff checklist.
Brake temperature.
Checked.
Brake fans.
Off.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
TCAS.
TARA, tilt above.
Exterior lights.
Set on.
Sliding tables.
Stowed.
Wrong,
Stowed.
JetBlue Airbus, boss, you're on.
Checklist complete.
Charlie 26 to South Cargo, please.
Alright, so the before takeoff checklist is now complete. And we're going to momentarily make our turn onto runway 19er, where we're going to be departing Jacksonville to Denver. Here's our turn here. We're going to make a left turn.
Alpha November, cross 15 right, short of 15 left, with 633 at Bravo, give way to a twin Cessna, please. Bravo, give way to the twin Cessna, Denver 633. 22, you see a JetBlue off your left, and November gives way to you. Ground Cactus 225, ready to taxi. Cactus 225, ready to runway 22 right, taxi via Echo Alpha.
Alright, we're ready now to set takeoff thrust. Let's get lined up here.
Right, Echo Alpha November. Clear across 15 right, hold short of 15 left. Taxi 225.
Takeoff. Man, flex, SRS and runway.
Check.
United 537, Echo 3
Power
into the gate.
set.
225, turn right at Echo 2, join Kilo, Kilo Alpha November, same hold short instruction. Roger, Echo 2, Kilo November, Alpha November, Cactus
100 knots.
Checked.
You're 3187, give way to United, and
one.
then turn left on Alpha, taxi via Alpha,
Rotate.
Lima, runway
Rotate.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Navigation.
Check. Exterior lights.
And we're going to maintain about 15 to 20 degree pitch for our climb.
Flap 0. Climb thrust.
Speed check. Flaps 0.
And the after takeoff checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
Flaps.
Checked retracted.
Landing gear.
Gear up. Lights off.
Exterior lights.
Check.
Alright, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and engage the
Autopilot on.
And as you can see from the very beginning up to this point, the co-pilot and the automated checklist really done everything for us. Alright folks, as you can see, we are now climbing to our cruise altitude of 33,000 feet. My initial impression of this aircraft is that it's a good bargain. If you consider the FS Labs, for example, this aircraft actually is pretty close in terms of the system simulation. Now the realism, the timing of of when the FADEC turns on and off, the sounds perhaps are better on the FS Labs A320, but for the price difference, I think this aircraft is a real bargain for an Airbus lover. Not only that, it actually works very well for those of you who are not very familiar with the Airbus and they just want to use the automated checklist with the co-pilot to kind of figure things out. And it also works quite well for those who do not want to use the automated checklist and want to go through everything manually. Really a very good bargain. If I compare this aircraft to, for example, the JAR design A320 in X-Plane, I will tell you that I will vote for the Aerosoft version anytime. I think it's better made in terms of how it looks, very representative, a very authentic look, both the interior and exterior. In terms of the simulated systems, I think both have pretty much the same amount of systems simulated, but this one is a little bit more accurate in terms of how the MCDU behaves when you click, for example, on the flight plan, and so on and so forth. So I think I would place this in a category between, say, the FS Labs A320 and the Flight Factor A320 and the JAR design. So it's a step up from the JAR design in my opinion, but a few steps, not too many steps, but few steps below the FS Labs and the Flight Factor A320. Beautiful aircraft overall. Alright, so I'm going to check back with you guys at 33,000 feet, which is not too long from now, and we'll take it from there. We just leveled off at our final cruising altitude of 33,000 feet, and everything is per design intent. We will receive notification from the automated checklist to begin our descent about 30 nautical miles from the top of descent point. So I'm going to let you guys enjoy the flight and relax, and I will see you right before we begin our top of descent. Enjoy the flight. Welcome back, folks. We are approximately 62 nautical miles from top of descent. We should get the automated notification at 32. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at our weather information at our destination. As you can see, we have 9 knots winds at 220 degrees. Visibility is 10, scattered clouds at 5, broken at 8,000 and at 2200. Temperature is 15 Celsius and the altimeter is 3029. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the MCDU and we're going to go to the next phase right here. And we're going to grab the information again, 3029. So let me just go over here. 3029. Stick that there. 220 at 9. And we'll put that here. Temperature is 15 Celsius. And we're going to do flaps full for our approach today. So we're going to enter 137. our approach speed. Landing height is 150, and we're now pretty much ready for our descent and approach into Denver. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to wait. As you can see, ILS 26 is displayed here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for the notification to pop up on top of the screen here to tell us to begin the descent preparation checklist and subsequently initiate our descent for our approach into Denver. As you can see now, we have the notification from our automated checklist as descent preparation checklist starts in 31 miles or MCDU 2 start checklist or use number 1. So we will use number 1. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to reset the MCP altitude to our platform altitude, which is 7,000 feet. So we're going to set this to 7,000. There we go, and we can begin the descent checklist. So let's go ahead and press number 1.
Descent preparation checklist.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Landing information.
Received.
Altimeter.
Standard.
Landing elevation.
Checked.
Error radio.
Checked.
TCAS.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Alright, so the checklist is complete now, and we'll initiate descent at our discretion. As you can see, this is the top of descent point here. We're approximately, let me see here, we are 29 nautical miles from the actual top of descent point. We can begin our descent now. There shouldn't be any problems with beginning the descent now. We can wait a little while, maybe another 10 nautical miles, and then we will begin our descent. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and initiate descent. I'm going to come over here and
Initiating descent.
FMA check.
we are approaching our transition altitude now of 18,000 feet.
Altitude.
3358 contact approach 125.
And as you can see, it was again automated
Barrow
by the
reference set
co-pilot
and
pilot.
cross-checked. 302 Niner.
302. Niner. Checked.
The 926 reduce speed to 190.
So 190,
And the landing system has now been activated. And the aircraft is going to reduce its speed now to 250 knots. And just to reiterate, everything is really being handled by the automated checklist and the co-pilot. So you can actually use the automated checklist without the co-pilot. In that case, the checklist items will be recited and you'll have to respond. But with the co-pilot enabled, it will really read out the checklist items, and the co-pilot will take care of things for you. We've got about 10,000 feet to go to our platform altitude of 7,000 feet, and all is looking good now for our approach into Denver. We are now at 250 knots. And at this point, the aircraft is decelerating to about 180 knots. And as you can see, we are going through a thick layer of cloud here as we approach Denver. Everything is looking good though. We are pretty much on track for our approach and landing. As you can see now, we are descending below 10,000 feet. The landing lights are now on. And everything is looking good for our approach. We're about 2,000 feet from our platform altitude. The auto brake has been set to medium. And I'm just going to let the co-pilot and virtual pilot really take care of everything for us here. We are now 1,000 feet to go from our platform altitude. And we're going to maintain 7,000 feet until we are established.
B4561, flighting 180.
Heading 180 is
And as you can see now, we have a new pop-up that says start the approach checklist in 4.1 nautical miles or press 1. So it will automatically start within 3.7 nautical miles, or we can press 1 to start it now. I'm just going to leave things to the pilot and co-pilot to take care of things for us.
Approach checklist.
Beacon status.
Checked.
Sliding tables.
Stowed.
Stowed. Cabin signs.
Turn right heading 180.
Checked.
Descend and maintain 5,000.
Nav currency.
right to 180.
Checked.
Descend and
Error
maintain
reference.
5,000 up to 920.
Checked. 302
302-9er. Checked.
AC 4668.
Exterior lights.
6,000, then reduce speed at
Set
210.
on.
Checklist complete.
Rubber 926, contact approach 125.5.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing.
Alright, and at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage the approach button. And at this point we're going to go ahead and engage autopilot 2.
Second autopilot is on.
Right on Kilo, hold short, 22 right, 420.
Southwest 1322, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Pick up, did you right?
Flaps 1.
222.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
Flaps 2.
Speed check. Flaps 2.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Delta 1887, car, runway 22 left, position and hold traffic 13 mile, final for your runway traffic will arrive across the runway.
Flaps 3.
Speed check. Flaps 3.
Delta 1807, that was for company.
Flaps full.
Company will depart the parallel
Speed check,
runway for
flaps
NG,
full.
Delta 1807.
Localizer
runway
alive.
22 right, position and hold.
Position and hold, 22 right, Delta 18.
Landing checklist.
Delta 1887, runway 22 left,
Landing
position
gear.
and hold traffic will arrive
Down and
across the
locked.
runway.
3 greens.
Ground spoilers.
Checked and armed.
Auto brakes.
Medium.
Exterior lights.
On.
I understand.
Go around altitude.
Set.
Landing memo.
Checked no blue.
Checklist complete. Localizer captured.
We are now lined up with the runway 16 at Denver, Colorado, and we are ready for landing, and we should be there momentarily. Everything is looking good,
Lights
and
live.
what we're going to do is we're going to use the auto land feature in this Airbus to land the aircraft.
Eagle Flight 4533, cross runway 22 right. Southwest 1322, car, runway 22 right, position and hold for crossing traffic.
22 right, position and hold, Southwest 1322.
Clear 531, cross runway 22 right, contact ground point 9er as you're crossing.
22 right, ground point.
So the only thing we need to do on touchdown is retard the throttle.
140 on the turn, clear.
Looking good.
JetBlue 426, turn right on Kilo, hold short.
500.
runway 22 right, remain as frequency.
Right on Kilo, hold short, 22 right,
400.
426.
300. 100 above. 200.
22, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Minimum
Takeoff 22 right, Southwest 1322.
Continue.
100. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Ground
And-
spoilers.
Beautiful touchdown right on the center line.
Delta 1887, tower, runway 22 left, position and hold traffic 13 mile, final for your runway traffic will arrive at
Reversers are out. There's an aircraft on the runway.
Right, Delta.
Delta 1807, that was
Looks like we're gonna hit that aircraft.
Depart the parallel runway prior to Delta 1807.
Use manual braking here at this
Set
point.
to not.
Position and hold 22 right, Delta 1807.
And Delta 1887, runway 22 left,
Okay.
position and hold traffic will arrive across the runway.
Welcome to Denver, Colorado, ladies and gentlemen.
These passengers
And,
will be boarded on the parallel runway.
Need to leave the runway now.
I understand, Delta.
Well, folks, as you have experienced in this video, we were able to pretty much start the aircraft at takeoff and land using the automated checklist and the available virtual co-pilot. In terms of the price tag, I think this aircraft is well priced. I think the price is very reasonable for what this aircraft does. It brings in a lot of enjoyment to the flying experience in P3D. It is not a study level simulation of an Airbus, but it's not far away from the FS Labs and A320 in terms of the simulated systems. In fact, it has more simulated systems than the Flight Factor, which still doesn't have the weather radar simulated. If I am to place this aircraft, I would place it in a category of its own, above the JAR design A324 X-plane and below the FS Labs A320 and Flight Factor A320. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.